At Survival Outpost 7 on the outskirts of the Cahuta Wilderness, a rotating team of sharpshooters were posted as vigilant sentries. The easiest way to avoid being overran with mindless ghouls pounding on the walls for human flesh was to permanently drop them from a few hundred yards. With a good rifle scope and favorable wind conditions, it was easily enough attained. An early problem arose in the form of friendly fire. Countless hordes of the barely living were dispatched to the boneyard before their time. From the preferred sniper range, it was much easier to shoot a desolate figure staggering toward them than it was to ascertain their respiratory status. For itchy, trigger finger reasons and to err on the side of caution, a series of widespread public safety programs were circulated at the outposts. The PSAs reminded anyone roaming between sanctuaries to dance, flail about provocatively when approaching one of the security gates. By doing so, it would signify active cerebral activity and intention. Once within sight of the fortress towers, the sanctuary seekers were strongly encouraged to stand out by this obvious means. It alerted the gunmen to spare them, because the dead don't dance. Far be it from those desperately in need of food and shelter to remember to behave in such erratic, whimsical ways, but the result of forgetting was a lead reminder to the forehead. The official DDD initiative was circulated as well as any public safety initiative could be, in the post-internet absolute collapse of civilization. Hey Philip, take a look at the left quadrant in the upper corner. We've got two questionables approaching close together. What do you think? When they exited the edge of the tree cover, they were lumbering toward the front gate like mindless corpses. Now I'm starting to see what appears to be some level of rhythmic movement. Is that the Watusi? The one on the left is pantomiming? Damn! Good eye, Jeremy. You know your older dance styles. We got ourselves a well-educated breather approaching the compound. He has one hell of a sense of humor, risking his life by breaking out old moves like that to signal his cognitive activity. Presumably, the one on the right is okay too, but keep an eye on him. He's either cocky, jaded, or maybe about to turn. Give him a little warning buzz over the right shoulder. That should probably motivate him to follow active protocol. The hardened marksman began to giggle like schoolgirls. The second figure broke out into a goofy, highly exaggerated rendition of the rumba after the fired round missed him by mere inches. In less dangerous, pre-apocalyptic times, such outrageous behavior would be a well-received comedy routine. Witnessed from afar in such troubled times, forced the guards to decide if it was spastic, brain-dead gestures or willful provocation of security forces. Yeah, that's definitely intentional voluntary motor function. That jokester has balls, I'll give him that. Save the rest of your ammo for the spastic clowns who look like they're in the middle of a 1980s mosh pit. That's how you confirm they aren't welcome wagon missionaries. I want to speak directly with these brash newcomers at the north gate. Do you two bozos have a death wish? I wonder if you realize just how close you came to being permanently silenced with a lead-based business card. The rumba dancer snorted. You'd be doing both of us a favor. He dismissed. The Watusi dancer wasn't quite as glib about the idea of being shot. He raised a scabbed eyebrow in aggravated consternation. Speak for yourself, Rafe. I'm fairly content in my current state of being. Raphael chortled raucously, and then spat a bloody lung loogie on the ground to show his disdain for the warning. The heavy congestion in his raspy throat sounded like the labored breathing of a heavy chain smoker, despite cigarettes being a thing of the distant past. Existence was obviously very hard outside the gilded walls of protection. We just left the ruins of Outpost 4. No one dances there anymore. Watusi Jean divulged to everyone within earshot. It fell. His grim announcement within the quarantine chamber was met with predictable lamentation by the weary processing team. It was a particularly trying time for mankind, and being told one of the few remaining sanctuaries was gone felt like a swift kick in the gut. Philip started to ask for more details, but stopped himself. Any depressing news was upsetting the delicate porcelain-like morale of the dedicated people who heard it. Finding out more was beating a dead horse. It served no obvious purpose to inquire more at the moment. The uncomfortable truth would be all over the compound in 10 minutes, and there would be a wave of predictable reactionary suicides. He had to alert the camp commander so they could do damage control before it created pockets of new outbreaks within the secured walls. He urgently gestured for Jean's glib narrative to cease. Oddly enough, the fragrant new visitors didn't seem bothered by what they knew. On the surface, that could be blamed on the fact that they had plenty of time to absorb the ugly impact of what they witnessed. While it was 3 days' journey across the dangerous Badlands, there was something else lingering within the unspoken details. It nagged hard on Philip's suspicious instincts. Jeremy also noticed it, but he had a dedicated job to do, and he kept vigilant watch at the tower. As soon as his mentor returned back to his post, he planned to share his parallel concerns about the two very haggard souls in tattered rags who had just disrupted their fragile peace. Just before they were allowed to pass beyond the containment corridor into the safety zone, Jeremy shouted for the doorman to halt.
"Wait a minute. Don't let them inside just yet."
At that instant, wholesale chaos erupted inside the quarantine zone. The two previously calm visitors immediately transformed into savage beasts and attacked the processing staff with rabid ferocity. Jeremy drew a crosshair bead on them to take out Raphael, Jean, and two unfortunate living members of the team who were just compromised by bites. Philip heard the rapid gunfire and immediately returned to secure the gates. It was a stunningly close call. "Apparently, somehow, the dead are evolving. They almost just fooled us, but you were paying attention, Jeremy," the camp commander announced with a tremor of emotion in his voice. "Thank heavens we created the quarantine corridor as a buffer zone. You saved every other man, woman, and child in this outpost. We all owe you a debt of gratitude for your heroic actions. We also give eternal thanks to the brave souls who lost their lives in service of others in the processing unit. They will not be forgotten." No one has ever witnessed them be able to hide any aspect of their rotting ways or violent tendencies before. This is brand new behavior. Sadly, it means the simpler days of being able to immediately tell the living from the dead and the DDD initiative are over. They can now dance, talk, even make pertinent jokes to enhance their murderous facade. They can apparently organize creative strategies in their zeal to kill all of us. There's little doubt Outpost 4 fell from this very clever ruse. We must be ever vigilant if we are to survive and overcome this troubling, unnatural adaptation and the war against the living.